Perfect. Menahot Daf Lam Degima Amud Aleph, 11 lines down. Marav Yudah Marav. Asa'a Kimin Neger. If you made the mezuzah to the doorpost like a bolt, Pisulat Pasul. Right, so that means you would be doing it like horizontally into the doorway. And he said the case, why is it Pasul? Vahaki Amar Yisrael Amar Yisrael Amar Kul Mezuzah Berebi. Kimin Neger Habadin. The house of Rabbi, they used to make it like a bolt. Vahave Pitcha the Ayel Berebi, the Midrash. And one time he went and entered the Bet Midrash, Vulav Mezuzah, and he didn't have mezuzah. So we see from there, in the beginning at least, that you're able to put it like a bolt. The Gemara says, "Like Hashem Hada avida kisi kita." Bida had in his house, he had it where it was made like a peg versus a bolt. It was nailed horizontally to the wall. And had avida isra in the case of the surah, where it mean it was like made like an L shape into the wall. That's where it's a problem. Versus any 1 second, the entrance no mizah. Hope it had sometimes the entrance Ravuna hadn't. Had mizah. So you need it. The Gemara says, that was the most common entrance, and that's why they needed it. Okay. Tamari Damarav, you go after the most common entrance area. Mara Bizra, Marav Mata, Mara Shmuel, Mitzvah, Tina Chabad, Shlosh Me'alyon. Mitzvah to put the muzah at the top third of the doorway. 33% down, which is Armin Hagar. Vunamar, Magdibin Akaga Tefach, 1 tefach above the floor, Mahigman Kura Tefach, and 1 tefach from the beam on the top. The Chol Petach Kulo Kasher Muzah. The rest of that is Kasher. Metve, the question is, Magdibin Akaga Tefach, you do 1 tefach from the floor, Mahigman Kura Tefach, 1 tefach from the top, the Chol Petach Kulo Kasher Muzah, the whole thing is Kasher. Repeat that, repeat that, repeat that, repeat that, Ukshat Hamli, Ukhtav Tam. You're putting them on your hand, and then Tefillin, then writing the mezuzah. Ma keshira bagava, just like at the top of your tefillin, you're tying it at the top of your head. After to do the writing, which is the mezuzah, goes on top of the doorpost. Bishlam Ravuna, the Mark Rabia. Rabia Huna must have Rabida. And the Shmuel, the Mark Ran, who's the Shmuel like? Lok Rabida, Lok Rabia say. It seems like no one. The Mark said, Mark Buna Beredi Vanatan, the Lam Rabia say, he holds like Rabia say. What does he mean when he's saying that it goes according to the top third of the doorpost? L'harhika means further, distancing from the doorpost. Don't put it at a distance from the top more than a third. Okay, marava. Not put mizrah within a tefach closer to the street. Like we said earlier, the Gemara says, "Why?" Rabbanan Chachamim say, "We want you to enter and approach and encounter the muzah immediately when enter the doorway." He says, so that the muzah should guard the house. The Gemara says, look how God is not like the regular person. The king is inside the house, and the people guard him outside. God's not like that. The servants are inside, and he stands outside to guard them. What a beautiful Gemara. So, if you don't have a mezuzah, I highly suggest you get good mezuzot. My friend Steven Sassy has a great idea. He did not pay for this ad. You can tell him that he owes me money now. He said in the halacha, if you did a mezuzah into a hole into the doorpost, it's pasul, right? So you can't make a imprint hole and put the mezuzah into that hole. The Gemara says, "Lo misai" is being a proof. Henihab the pasin oshtelab malben. If someone places mezuzah on a board or patched a brick oven over it, im yesh shem tefach tzarich mezuzah acheres. Is tefach space? You need mezuzah. Im la vena tzarich mezuzah acheres. There's no tefach. You don't need mezuzah. Gemara says, like kitanai. What is that about to talk about? The petach she'acheres is the entrance behind the door. Right, so it's not a question against Rava that it can't be inside the doorpost. But 1 second, the Bretta says that clearly. In the case of an entryway, it's behind the door. There's no tefach, you need another mezuzah. There's no extra tefach, and tzarich mezuzah, you don't need it. So your other Bretta says the same case. The Gemara says no. Case like Zani. It's not two different Brettot telling the same thing. One explaining the first case, right? So it's telling you if you don't have an extra space, you don't need a second mezuzah. Okay, Tana Bretta says, Hamid la malban shel kanim. If someone put a frame of a doorway out of reeds, you could open a tube and put the muzah inside that hollow tube of the reed because you don't have exactly a doorway. We only said that. That's only where he first put the reed and then he cut the reed and put the muzah inside. But if we put the reed, you cut the reed and put the muzah inside to begin with, because you can't make something retroactively, like we said this yesterday's off, it has to be done and not already pre-done. Amar Baba says, "Hani pitay shema'eh." These benches that are defective, between them and the from Mizah. My pitay shema'eh, what does that mean? Beligi baraba hamid baraba says Rabbi Yossi, it's machoget. How am I to let tikra? One penny has no lintels, no top part of the doorway. But how am I to let shuf kuveh and some other pennies has no doorposts? Amar Babar Shila Amar Hizda. Asada beturam Mizah, the achadra, which is like a roofed area with three sides that are closed, like a pergola, and one side's completely open. Patur from Mizrah. The fish in la pasimin because there's no signpost. Where it says yesh la pasimin hayav, but if there was signpost bihayav. Lehezuk tikrahu davi. We also need a lintel, not just the doorway. The where it says hachi kamar afa pisha yesh la pasimin even if it had seven pasur. Shein asuyun ela lehezuk tikra because that's not part of the roof. That's just supporting the roof. Marba says hazina lahu. That's the beit amar. I one time saw the etc. of Rabbi's house. They eat lahu pasimin v'labatu b'zah. So signpost no mizah. I assumed that it had to do with the fact that it was a there to support the roof. Where it says, "Meti for question, bet charge, guardhouse, etc. In a gallery, all the things mizuzot, even though their side posts are there to support the roof." Where it says, "No, the bedrav is referring to a classroom one that's more permanent, and they don't go all the way to the roof, and therefore it's considered part of a doorway." Why would you not need one for a classroom? Where it says "Be'achazra romita," we're referring to a Roman type, which is full structure in all ways, but there's open windows. Like there's no window, there's no like walls. The entire walls are windows. Therefore, you would have thought that it does not require one, and therefore we said yes. Amara Habab Amar Yehuda. Be'harzikeh hayav b'shtem mizuzot. The harzikeh house needs two mizuzot. What's my be'harzikeh? What does that mean? It's the guardhouse. It's open to the courtyard, and the houses are open to the gate guardhouse. Right? So most guardhouses have a single entrance from the courtyard. That needs mezuzah. Over here, you need double. One at the entrance to the courtyard to the house, and one from the entrance to the street, to the courtyard. Okay, we're done. The guardhouse that is open to a garden and to a room, right? Two different entrances. They don't make it. The main part of things considered the room that is mizah. I'm saying they don't make it the guardhouse. The Rav Shmuel, the Mitzvah, they both say Meginan lebayit kula amalo pligi dehayav. From the garden to the house, everybody agrees you need mizah. My time, my why? Biyad debetu because that's considered bayitu because that's entering the house. Keep pligi was in machoket mibayit leginan from the house to the garden. More savar kitunit aikar. Yes, hold it the room is the primary part. More savar ginak ikar and the rest and Habim hold the garden in the ikar the main. Rabbi Ava says no. House the garden, everybody says your patur. By the time why? Pitahad the gina enters way to the garden. Keep legal with my hakim gina the from the garden to the house. More so the Bible. Basically holds the house as the entrance. More so kula and Hamim holds no. The entire purpose as the gina that David made it for the garden. That's why the garden is the ikar. Rabbi Rava di Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Rava ruled like Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Ashi Avid Kirav Shmuel Hamran Rabbi Ashi ruled with Rav Shmuel stringently. V'hatak Rav Shmuel Hamran halacha azak Rav Shmuel to that restrict and we require it. We'll stop here. We're from men by men.